Hello guys and welcome back to TNT Madness. Today we're going to be looking at a really stupid but insanely powerful cannon, and that is what I'm going to call the Super Shotgun Cannon. I've done shotgun cannons in the past, but nothing can really compare to this cannon, and I got the idea for this because I was working on a regen buster, but I spent about the best of 5 hours trying to get that to work, and I sort of failed, so I'm going to be trying to do that later. But because I ran out of time, I decided to go with this, which is really just a really stupid cannon, because really all it does is fires an absolutely insane amount of TNT, a total of 560 TNT, really precisely, because the barrel is actually only 1 block wide, and then fires it really far into whatever space you want to throw it in. So essentially what this does is fires it into a really tight packet of space and then blows up an absolutely ridiculously large area, because you got 560 TNT, so no doubt there's going to be some insane hole that's going to be created, and that's the whole point of this cannon. So the only real practical use of it is you can make it into like a tunneler cannon, but it's a really inefficient use of it. So the only real use for this is if you're having fun with it and just want to blow up a giant area with your cannon. Apart from that, it's pretty much useless, but it's definitely really fun to use, and it's really awesome to look at when it's firing. So let's have a look at this thing in action. So what we have here is our giant wall. For comparison, here is our cannon and here's the wall. I just wanted to make it huge. We've got a tiny indent here for where we're going to be firing in, just to give you perspective. And we've got this huge area here. We won't be blowing up anywhere near this much, but it's just a giant area in case we need it. And this thing is massively long. It goes all the way down there past my render distance, just because I don't want this to be too powerful. The only downside with this cannon is it's apparently a squid farm, and it also can lag out your computer if it's not that powerful. I have a GTX 970 in this computer, and it still brings the frame rate to its knees. So anyway, if we do fire it, you can see there's tons of TNT going into the actual barrel, but then it fires into here, and then just makes an absolutely massive hole. That's a pretty big hole. It's mostly horizontal, but if we go ahead and fire it again, we can see it just goes ahead and creates a massive hole. As you can see, there's absolutely no purpose for this. So I'm just going to fire this a few more times and see how far we can actually get. And as you can see, I've already got quite a wee way in if our frame rate stops being a slideshow. Yeah, it seems to keep recoiling back, but as you can see, we're getting quite a nice indent in here. And we're getting holes absolutely everywhere, but it's very concentrated fire. Because what happens is this piston closes off and then all the TNT goes into this little thing here. The only downside is you don't get as much of range, but this still can fire up to around 10 chunks, which is, I think, an absolutely absurd range for something as useless as this. As you can see, most of it does recoil back, and now we're starting to get quite a deep hole. In fact, I don't know how much TNT is actually left in this, because there's not much in the propellant, or at least not in some of these. Duh. Okay, let's see if we can make it to the other side before everything gets destroyed. So we'll fire it one more time and just see the actual damage. I don't think we'll get through this because this is more than 100 blocks wide. Wow. Oh, we did get through it, and then we got our other thing here. So this is an absolutely insane hole, and this is essentially a giant tunnel, and this was created by this tiny little piddly wee cannon. And if you want to download this map, you can. There'll be a download in the description below, but as you can see, there's just tons of damage. Nothing can really compare to this, and as you can see, it's super long range, and it just shot all the way through this giant block of wood. And as you can see, it's not tiny, it's really, really long. But anyway, now on to the redstone. So now onto the redstone, and what we have here is our button. This is the most important part of the cannon, but to be honest, the cannon's not actually that complicated, but there are a few little things going on that are very important, and the button is probably one of the most important things. So the first thing that happens is when you press the button, it sends a signal up here and down the bottom here, and all this does is activates the compressor, which will compress all the propellant into one tiny block that will go at this very front here just before the ladder. And before that happens, all of these dispensers dispense TNT, so that's a total of 42 TNT, so that's plenty for propellant, or at least for a cannon of this size, or a cannon for this stupid purpose. And then after that, all of it will get compressed into one tiny block one tick later. But before any of this actually fires off, what happens is we get a signal sent up along here, and another one sent up along here. And these comparator clocks are very important, because what happens is we send a signal down here, so there's a 4 ticks after these fire off, so the actual TNT coming from these will fire off 4 ticks after the propellant has actually gone off. And the button, if you didn't know, wooden buttons have a 15 ticks of delay, so if you had a normal stone one, it would actually fire less TNT from here than it would from that one. So this means it can fire anywhere between 560 TNT to 800 TNT per shot, which is a ridiculous amount of TNT. It's an absolute absurd amount of TNT. No one should, in their right mind, should absolutely ever have that amount of TNT, but this is Minecraft, so it doesn't matter. We can do whatever we like. So that just goes into this pattern here, which then goes into our staircase design. I personally like redstone torches better, but these only work with the staircase repeaters, because redstone torches, they need 2 ticks of delay to actually change their signal, or else I would have to scrap the whole redstone comparator design and use burnout torches instead. But I just feel like this is much more consistent than that anyway. So as a lot of people know, I don't really like these staircase repeaters, but it works really well for this design. So after all that fires, is all of this then fires down into the main barrel, which will then go down into this. And instead of having this all as one barrel, what happens is we have this giant line of repeaters going all the way along here, which is a total of 36 ticks. And if you don't know, TNT takes 40 ticks of delay to actually be activated or activate. So these pistons will extend 4 ticks before the actual TNT explodes. So this, when all the TNT is lying down in this barrel bit, this will then extend, so it'll make the barrel only one long. So that way all the TNT will then be in one super concentrated area and fire dead straight at whatever target you want. So for a cannon that's as stupid as this, you don't really need precision like this, but I just think it's a really cool addition to this cannon. So that's pretty much how this is. And since this is such a like just a weird cannon, I'm not actually going to be doing a tutorial on it, because I can't see any practical use for it in Factions. So instead, I'm just going to be leaving a world download in the description below, where you can use that same wood thing, or you could just copy the cannon and import it into some world and then go ahead and cause absolute havoc. So anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this video, but goodbye from